I want to ask you this. I saw a video the other day, and she was talking about going to therapy. And there's some people in the comments agreeing that they've been going to therapy for some years. And I'm like, do you need to go to therapy for years? Because it's my understanding that the whole point of therapy is for this person or this objective being to give you the tools, not to solve it, but to give you the tools so you can solve it. So if you're going to a therapist that long, and now this is me coming at this with curiosity. I'm not making any assumption, but it's my understanding that therapy is to give you the tools. If you have the tools, you don't need to go to a mechanic.
Is the question, is it a problem if you're in therapy for years?
Yeah. Would that be considered a red flag? Because is this person just not getting it, or do they just need a safe outlet? If they're doing that, then maybe that's
it's very individualized. Yes, there are therapists out there that are ineffective or that do it in a way to just kind of keep consistency in their clientele. And it's not about you getting where you don't need therapy as much. It runs the gamut. For me, when I was in therapy consistently for several years, it was because my marriage was really volatile. It was less about maybe even focusing on me, but just how to support my partner and how to navigate. I mean, week by week, something new was happening. So in that ways, it was a support. I think especially if you don't have a good support system or don't have anywhere safe to be able to talk through your stuff, sometimes a therapist is the only person you can go where it's a neutral source. Sometimes therapists will enable you and enable your spirals. And so you go to get validated, even though it's not actually helping you get out of that. It's just a different therapeutic approach. And I make these statements, and this is not to bash any sort of therapist. I think good therapists are unicorns. They're very rare. Just because you have the education and the, MFT next to your name does not mean that you are effective at being a therapist. It just means that you pass the test. There are amazing therapists, especially trauma-informed ones that have certain modalities. To me, and just again, I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach, but I like to give the tools and skills where therapy can be a support. So I went back into therapy middle of July because I knew there would be a season of time where I needed an unbiased opinion on what I was going through to make sure I wasn't spiraling, because the main people that knew about this were going to spiral me in the wrong direction. Not necessarily you, but my mom. Sorry, mom. Was going to spiral me in the wrong direction. She was my main form of support for this situation. And so I wanted to have a neutral person to bounce ideas off of and talk through this specific set of instances. What I realized is we kind of got to the point where we weren't talking about anything. I was trying to come up with things to talk about, but I'm pretty self-aware and I can coach myself through. So I didn't need any more processing of things. So I stopped it. Now I kind of look at therapy as like an albuterol inhaler. I know if I have to go through a really tough season, especially to the one trigger that I have left in my life that's super triggering, which is my ex when we get into co-parenting issues, that's where I need a lot of support because it involves my children. And so I need to make sure that I'm thinking with their best interest in mind and not my own triggers. So that is where therapy still plays a part in my life. Otherwise, I've worked on building out an amazing support system to talk through what's going on. And some people don't have those safe places, or they don't have friends or family that they can talk to that are self-aware, that they can have these challenging conversations, those kinds of things. So there's no right or wrong to it. But yeah, I do think that in a lot of ways, therapy can be used as a checkbox that I'm doing the work, but you're not actually changing behavior or growing and evolving where you're not cycling in the same shit.